Hey guys, it's Kelly. I am going to do something a little bit different for my channel today. I'm going to show you how I take a basic potted flower, a silk arrangement, and I add to it to make it prettier, more full, and it'll be a good display for fall or um, anything really. They have these pots at Michael's, and right now they have all of their stems 40% off. So I actually am wanting to do an arrangement to put on my son's Mimi's grave. And I've not done that yet since she passed away last year. And it just kind of struck me that that's something that I wanted to do. So I'm going to do something that she actually taught me to do. She and I bonded and had a lot of fun over home interior and decorating and things like that. And one of her specialties was flower arranging. And so she taught me what little bit I do know, but I wanted to kind of share with you what I'm going to do to this basic potted flower, and it's going to be what I put on her grave. Now, they had different colors. They have these flowers. There are some green, beautiful green silk flowers. Then there are some that are kind of a pale yellow and some that are an off-white. And they have it pulled up into this basket. It's just paper. It's a plastic type paper, but they have it tied up with a silk ribbon, which is really cute. But as you can see, it's really sparse. It's very light. If you open it up like this, you can see the inside. It's just a big chunk of styrofoam. I'm trying to stay out of camera, guys, because I don't have any makeup on and it's like 1 o'clock in the morning. So what I'm going to do is I started out with going through all of the pieces that I gathered, and I made sure that all of the tags were off and that sort of thing. They always put the tags on the stems and you have to pull it off, and they're glued on and that sort of thing. The next thing we need to do is we need to pull this down like this so that it's out of our way. Now, what I have purchased, I purchased some extra stems. This is just one of the stems that I purchased. It's just some, it's almost like these, but only in baby form. They are wired. I do prefer flowers that are on a wire stem, and that's because when they are on a wire stem, you can maneuver them and you can make them do what you want them to do rather than just sticking straight up and not being able to change them. Now, I bought 3 of those. Now, that is a general rule when it comes to doing anything floral, whether it's a Christmas tree or whether it's something as simple as a styrofoam pot with silk flowers. These are not the highest quality silk flowers, but when you add some things to it, it can become really beautiful and full. And so the general rule most decorators will tell you is to purchase items in odd numbers. So of these small picks, I purchased 3. Then she always loved berries of really pretty much any kind. I found these. They are styrofoam berries and they're on a bush. Again, it was 40% off, so I paid about $7 for this stem here. But you'll see what I'm going to do with it shortly. We need to kind of prepare this flower itself before we get started into the things that I bought to add into it. So by pulling this down, and I know it's loud on camera, I'm just pulling this down so that I can kind of see what I'm working with and where I'm working. So I'll be working in this round area. I purchased 3 of the stems, so I'm going to put them in opposite areas, okay? And then I'm going to be dispersing the berries into different areas. But before I do that, I want to prepare this. what you need to do is you need to go to each stem inside the pot. Spread them out just a little bit. The taller ones usually need to be closer to the top, and the shorter ones, they really need to stay closer to the bottom. So just spread them out, and because they are wire, they will mold and bend to whatever you choose for them to do. So I'm just kind of spreading them out. It gives the whole thing a much wider look. It gives the flowers room to be added to. So by doing just that simple step, and I'm not sure why they have this one on here, stuck in here so oddly, but they do. It bends fine too. But what I've done now is it's gone from all of them going straight up to now they're spread out, and it's more, as you can see, it just kind of goes up and out. So that would be your first step. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take each one of the stems, and this is again one of the reasons why I said I prefer to buy the kind that have the wire inside, because I'm going to take these now, and instead of them being tight like this, I'm going to spread these out the same way. And very easily, I'm going to look at the front of the pot, and I'm going to put one here in this area, and I'm just going to kind of push it down into the styrofoam, and I'm pushing it down very nearly to where, as you can see right here, I've got it all the way down just about to where the flowers branch off. So I did that on one side of the bow. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take another stem and I'm going to pull it apart. Just like that, so that it is more wide apart. And if any of them are bent like this one, I don't know if you can see how bent that is right there. I just like to straighten that up just a little bit is all. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this one on the other side and put it far down into the pot as well. Okay, I don't know if you can really see on camera, but trust me, it's beginning to fill up now. Okay. Now I'm going to turn to the back. I have the main stem here, and then I have the two that I've just put in the front. Now I'm going to spread this one out. It really doesn't take much time or effort. You can do this with any potted plant, you know, any artificial flower that you may find at Michael's or Hobby Lobby or anything like that. You can transform these simply by adding some cheaper stems. You can transform them to look much more expensive, and it's really easy to do with any time of the year. These just happen to be fall colors. These would be really pretty if you were to add them, and you could add even more than what I'm adding. I just was trying to, you know, I don't know if you realize how expensive potted plants are when they've been prepared for a gray for you. If you can do it yourself, you can save a buttload of money. So that's what I'm kind of trying to do here, is save some money. I'll just take these to her grave, but you could do this and you could put these on either side of your fireplace, or you could put one up on one side of your mantle. You could put these on your front porch and weigh them down with rocks. There's so many different ways that you can use these cheaper potted artificial plants, and they look really good. So I'm going to go ahead here where I think is about in the middle. So I'm making some sort of a triangle as to where I'm putting these. So if you can see, I just put them in sort of a triangle around the base of the flower. Always remember where the front of your flower is. It's right here. Keep that in mind at all times. Whenever you are working with something, make sure you remember where the front is. Now, just by putting in those extras, we've already thickened it up enough that it looks much nicer. I am just going to do this because I know how much she loved any kind of berries. She always put berries on her Christmas tree. She used berries in all kinds of floral arrangements. She did floral arrangements from my home that were absolutely out of this world. They look like something out of Southern Living magazine, if you know what that is. And she could recreate just about anything floral related. And her Christmas trees, she helped me with my Christmas trees, and we're talking about something that you would see in Saks or Neiman Marcus or Nordstrom or someplace like, you know, like a commercially decorated Christmas tree. That's the way our Christmas trees look because we worked that hard on them. So what you can do, you can, if it's sparse enough and if this is not too thick, you can just put this down in the center and spread it out. Or you can take, these are my kitchen shears, they're just KitchenAid kitchen shears, and you can cut the stems and you can place them individually. I would suggest placing them individually if you're going to keep this indoors. But because this is going to be going outdoors and because it's going to have to withstand some wind, I am going to choose not to separate them and put them in individually because I believe that they will, you know, they're going to get tussled. So I am going to simply spread them out like I did all of the other ones. See, just with your Christmas tree, you know how it's crunched every year when you get it out of the attic or the garage or whatever. If you use an artificial tree, you know that it's crunched and you have to work on the limbs and kind of, you know, put them back into shape. Well, that's what we're going to be doing. And sometimes the berries come off. I just noticed this one did not have berries on the end, and I realized that the berry had come off. I pulled it off when I picked it up just a minute ago. But she loved this. It goes along with my fall theme. And so I'm going to put this down close to the core, close to the center. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it down in there, and then I'm going to pull these down in among the flowers. And that will give it a more rounded look, and that way it'll be pretty from pretty much any angle. So if you're putting it on your porch or outside beside your sidewalk or anything like that, that you're decorating for fall, then you know, because a lot of us decorate for fall and for Christmas, and we use artificial, whether it's, you know, full-blown garland or it's silk flowers in pots or things like that. But you do see this more commonly during the fall, I would say, when people are using the silk flowers. I want it to look nice in a 360 view. But what I would say to you is if you're going to put it on your mantle or against your fireplace, or you're going to set it in the middle of a table, you need to judge where you're going to put it as to what you're going to do. I want it to have more of a 360 effect. So I have basically opened this completely up because I want it to look pretty all the way around. If you want to put it against something that you're not going to be able to see the back, then just don't bend the back. You would just not bend this section back. You would simply leave it all out to one place, or you might put it in at an angle. It's really your judgment. But the idea here that I'm trying to give you is that this is a really easy thing to do, and it's cheap. Michael's charges about, you know, $75 to $150 for a simple potted silk plant. And I'm going to be getting away with this for about $40. So I really think that's awesome. Yes, it is, you know, wrapped in paper, but it's plastic. So it's going to withstand water, and it's silk. So I don't have to worry about, you know, it getting damaged, because a lot of times the bows are made of raffia or, you know, that straw or corn husk or whatever. So I'm going to put this down the center of this. I'm just going to find a place that's as close to the center as I can possibly get it. And I know that this may not be the best way to see. It's just all I've really got to work with. I'm going to place this down in the center, and I'm going to push it down pretty far. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to start bringing them down around the flowers. And remember, I'm keeping an idea of where the front of the flower is going to be. I'm just kind of pulling these berries down and around through the flowers so that they will stay without being kind of lopsided or anything like that. It's one of those things where you just work with it. And if you can just take your time, really work with it, you're not going to have too much of a problem, really. You're going to find that it turns out to be a really easy thing to do. Sometimes you'll find silk threads and that sort of thing on the flowers, and you just pull those off. Be gentle, but you don't have to be terribly gentle. You just want to add something to it. So what I'm going to do before I pull the paper back up is I'm going to I always work from the bottom up because you don't want to pull any of the berries or the flowers off, and they tend to get tangled if you're not careful. So yeah, just make sure that you are working gently and carefully. Leave some of them standing up in the center with the taller flowers. And as you work, you'll see it come together slowly but surely. So this is the front of my plant. I'm going to go ahead and bring this up around it. Okay, and then what you need to do is you need to take a step back. As you take a step back, if there's any areas that seem bare or like you need an extra flower there, then just bend one of the flowers to that direction, and it usually will fill the spot. And you just fill it up this way. It's really very easy. It's much more cost effective than having it made and going to pick it up. And it's going to look pretty no matter what you decide to do with it. It's going to look really, really nice. And it's going to look like you had it made even if you didn't. And that's really one of the best things about do-it-yourself projects is that you can get a really pretty look in a short amount of time, because it's taken me, we're at 20 minutes now nearly, or 18, and I've done this. I'm totally finished, but I was talking to you and I was talking it out. You should be able to do this in under 10 minutes, and you will have saved a lot of money, and you will have a really cute thing to look at. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the camera and I'm going to kind of show you at a distance what you're looking at and give you a better look at it. But if you'll just follow those simple general rules, I really do think that you'll enjoy the floral process just a little bit more. Remember to keep it to odd numbers, and remember that it's about just taking a little time, a little effort, going through the floral pick aisle, putting something together that is in similar colors, and you have it cheaply and quickly. You can do this in the spring, you can do this in the fall, you can do this at any time of the year. So anyway, okay, let me get you a shot of it as a whole. Okay, I'm going to try not to shake. This is what I have. You can see this is the front with the bow. This is just a really messy environment for you to look at. But I want you to kind of see what I'm talking about here. All I did was I took these that were these three colors here. I added in these small ones at the bottom, and then I added in this big sprig of berries, and I moved them around. So now it doesn't really matter what direction I look at these. And if you look at them and you see that you don't like the way it looks, just move it. I can remember when she was alive, she would create floral arrangements, and every time she came in my house, she would make a change. She would move it just a slight bit. I hope that you can see here, guys, that it took me very little time to create a pretty, very pretty, in my opinion, little arrangement that is appropriate for all kinds of things. I just wanted it to be something that I know that she would have liked if she were still alive. So it's just my little thing for her. But I really think that it's pretty enough that it would be beautiful beside your front door, or on your mantle, at your in your foyer, on your table in the foyer. I think it would be pretty any of those places. Just remember to buy silk flowers that have a wire inside the stem, and make sure that whatever pot you're using, you can either replace this with a plastic or buy it with it already having plastic. And check your ribbon and make sure that it is a, you know, like a silk ribbon, or something that's not paper, or something that's going to disintegrate in the wind or in the rain, or, you know, basically waterproof it. So yeah, guys, I know this is really very different for my channel, but I just wanted to kind of show you guys what I was up to and kind of let you see that it's really very, very, very easy. Be sure to give me a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe if you're new to my channel. I would like to know in the comments if you're interested in any more other do-it-yourself kinds of activities. I love these kinds of things. So yeah, that's going to be it for tonight. I hope that you all sleep well. Happy fall, y'all.